The vestibular system, with the help of sensory feedback from the muscles, joints, and sensory receptors in the retina, provide the body with information about motion, equilibrium, and spatial orientation. This system is comprised of the utricle, saccule, and 3 semicircular canals. The utricle and saccule are responsible for the detection of vertical orientation and linear movement. Semicircular canals detect rotational movement. These canals are filled with fluid called endolymph. Information about balance is sent to the brainstem, and there, the information is sorted and sent to the appropriate brain centers. For example, the cerebellum will process balance signals in order to help send information about automatic movements that have been repeated over time, like jugging up a steep wall in mid-air.
The utricle and saccule lie perpendicular to each other and have tiny hair cells that are affected by gravity. Each hair cell has stereocilia that are embedded in an otolithic membrane. This membrane is weighed down by otoconia, which are protein calcium carbonate granules. The otoconia add to the weight and inertia of the membrane and enhance a sense of gravity and motion. When the head is erect, the otolithic membrane bears down directly on the hair cells and stimulation is minimal. However, when the head is tilted, the otolithic membrane sags and bends the stereocilia, stimulating the hair cells. Any orientation of the head causes a combination of stimulation to the utricles and saccules. The brain interprets head orientation by comparing these inputs to each other and to other input from the eyes and stretch receptors in the neck. While the otolithic organs sense linear accelerations, the semicircular canals respond to angular acceleration. There are 3 pairs of semicircular canals: anterior, posterior, and horizontal. The canals are oriented roughly 90 degrees to each other for maximum ability to detect angular rotation of the head. The horizontal canal detects angular accelerations of the head, like spinning in an office chair. The anterior and posterior detect vertical head movements, like picking something up off the ground. Each slender duct has 1 ampulla, or opening. When the head turns, the endolymph in 1 or more semicircular ducts pushes against the hair cells, which are covered in a gelatinous material called cupula. You can see this on the bottom left of the diagram. We're sensitive to how much of the fluid is moving and how quickly, and we get information about the strength of rotation. Fluid in the corresponding semicircular duct on the opposite side of the head moves in the opposite direction. This is known as the push-pull system. So when one canal is stimulated, its corresponding partner on the other side is inhibited, and vice versa. With rotation of the head, the endolymph initially lags behind because of inertia, deflecting the hair cells in the ampulla. As rotation continues, the endolymph catches up, so stimulation ceases. At the end of rotation, the endolymph continues to move briefly, resulting in hair cell deflection in the opposite direction. The semicircular canals respond best to changes in speed of rotation.
Perhaps the most important reflex of the vestibular system is the vestibulo-ocular reflex. This senses linear and angular acceleration, allowing us to maintain eye position during motion. Excitation of a particular semicircular canal generates eye movement in that same plane. This rapid, involuntary eye movement is called nystagmus, derived from the Greek word nystagmos, meaning nodding or drowsiness. The vestibulo-ocular reflex generates eye movements opposite to the direction of head movement in order to stabilize an image on the retina. Inappropriate eye movements result in dizziness, which may present as spinning, imbalance, or lightheadedness, as seen with the poor kid in this video. Deficits can be caused by ear disease, such as Meniere's disease, and migraine headaches. or in the case of this young man, the influence of alcohol and or drugs. If you have a problem with a single canal, the other two can still function fine. For example, if the problem is with the canal that senses you nodding your head up and down, that would make you nauseous, but shaking your head side to side wouldn't. You can train your vestibular system so you don't get dizzy. Think of figure skaters spinning around and around, keeping their balance and not getting sick. In fact, vestibular rehabilitation therapy is used with patients with vertigo to train their central nervous system to compensate for problems with the inner ear.